just an extra.
Is it just an extra?
So this doesn't even need to be on the stage. Okay. There was another one back there. I didn't think so, so we moved it. Correct. Answer, this is just extra. Correct, it's plugged in here. On this one.
No, it's used, right? Like that.
Right.
Well, we're going, you agree. I could put something at the top, or at least make it look. No, but it just was part of the context of what's here. It's better.
I wouldn't create work for yourself, just create work for yourself.
It's funny because I was saying to somebody else collectively that apparently the video came out great. Nice job, got it. But it was here. It took an hour and a half to do a 1 minute piece. Well, it's like all this. Right? You can either say fuck it, I'm not going to do the video, or you can say I'm going to put the time into making it better than what it is, and then come up with an outstanding video or a better presentation. No right or wrong. That's the beauty of the whole habits are I pay attention to this. You pay attention to
To show you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm very glad to be back after welcoming my grandson into the world on Wednesday, so thank you. I appreciate all your prayers and your love and support. So this moment, this day, this new year is filled with possibilities. And so we just take a breath and we settle into that knowing of the presence and power that is God, that we are. And so we open up to the possibilities today. Here in this place, please join me.
simply allow God to express as us. We extend a special welcome to our live stream viewers. Just know wherever you are, we feel your presence. We're holding you in prayer. We're so grateful that you joined us this morning. So, my name is Shannon Hoff-Smith, and it is my pleasure to be your service coordinator today, and we are having our special guest speaker, Reverend David Ault, today. David Ault is from Atlanta, Georgia. He's an award-winning author, leadership coach, and a global educator and advocate. He tours and coaches associates, business leaders, and individuals on the importance of value-based living. He is the founder of Kaleidoscope Child Foundation, whose mission is to advance vulnerable children in communities worldwide. So we look forward to his music and message today. So, attending Sunday service, that is just the first step in being a part of this community. You are invited to practice the presence of God and get to know your fellow congregants by taking classes, workshops, joining one of our sacred service teams, and listening to our daily prayer calls. They are 8 a.m. on Friday mornings, or Monday through Friday. And if you're like me and cannot be there at 8 a.m., you can always listen in later throughout the day. And we're going to give you some highlights of our other activities, but to highlight one of our very special upcoming activities is Terry Brewer.
Good morning, family. So it's cold and winter looms long, so what should we do? Yes! What a brilliant crowd we have here. So, yes, dance this Friday night, the 13th, from 6 to 9 p.m. We're starting it earlier this year, so even little bitty tots can come and still get to bed on time. And we're having it on Friday night because we want to dance till we drop and go home and come back on Saturday morning and reset the room, not have to stay here right after the party. So that's why the date and the time are different than last year. So Friday night, 6 to 9, all ages, 0 to 120. Wade can come, Bonnie. And bring an appetizer to share, like chips and dip or whatever. It's not a big deal. We're just munchies. We will have pop and punch, and we will have beer and wine available for a love offering. And you can request whatever song you like. Michelle Coles will be our DJ. Is there any person in our community with more talents than Michelle Coles? I do not think so. She is awesome. So you can register online or just stop by the concierge desk after church and I will take your name. You don't have to register, but it makes it easier for us party planners. And if you have friends or neighbors or anybody, just bring them. Just come and let's party. Thank you.
And if anybody knows how to throw a party, we know it's you, Terry. So thank you for organizing that for us. So we did announce a little while ago that we are going to be starting the new membership classes, so get ready for those as well. A little bit of a change. We had said they were going to be on Monday evenings, but because of some scheduling, we are going to be doing those on Sunday afternoons from 12:30 to 2:30, so a little bit more convenient right after Sunday service. So if you are ready to deepen your commitment to USC, get ready to get signed up for those. It's going to be 5 weeks. The first 4 weeks is going to be our own talented Michelle Coles, who's going to be teaching the Heart of Unity curriculum, which is going to be about the 5 principles, the 12 powers, affirmative prayer, and more. And then Greg Scudderin is going to be topping that off with USC and U, which is our member orientation class. So sign up either online or stop in the office and get ready for your membership with us. So, if you cannot attend in person, that is okay. We are also going to be doing the Zoom link for that. We are going to make this so easy for you. We have Zoom, and also if you have to miss one of those, because it's very important that you attend all 5, they're going to be recorded. So if you miss one, you can catch up with that information on your own time. So if we are not making this easier and easier for you, we welcome you as members. This is an amazing community. Get involved. We are asking for a $10 love offering per class, but nobody's going to be turned away. That's not what we do here. So please consider membership. So, this Wednesday at 7 o'clock, this is going to be so exciting. This is going to run all year long. Our very own Susan Armstrong, the second Wednesday of every month, she is going to be helping us focus in on our 12 powers. It's a program called Plug In and Power Up. So, the second Wednesday of every month, come join us at 7 o'clock, and we're going to deep dive into those 12 powers and discover and explore those innate powers that we all have. So thank you, Susan, for that.
Is that also on Zoom?
No, that's not on Zoom. Those are live. You don't have to register for them. Just show up. But yeah, please do. Worth the trip. So, be sure to look at the website. We are doing all kinds of wonderful things. Get involved. But for now, let's dance. Let's share the celebration song. One of my favorites.
All right, you know this one, swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. You can really get into this. Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors and let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Do it again. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors and let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I've learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors and let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Woo, good job.
Great job. So please remain standing and let us repeat our church affirmation together. In this new year of possibilities, I allow grace and gratitude to lead me to a deeper awareness of God. Please be seated.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Camden, and these here are my awesome friends that are back in that room every Sunday with us. All right. All right. So, the daily word for today is freedom. All right. And the affirmation is, the divine presence within guides me to freedom. At times, I may feel hemmed in by circumstances, limited by lack of opportunity, or faced with an unwelcome situation and no good choice. When that happens, I may feel anything but free. Rather than despair, I find my freedom in God and the limitless expression of my divinity. Shifting my perspective from the limits of the world to the expanse and perfection of spirit, peace fills me. I relax and remember that no earthly trouble is greater or more enduring than God. I claim the power of God and feel strength beyond mere human strength as, moment by moment, I release limiting beliefs and reclaim the power I had given to my problems. Spirit lives in me and as me. The truth is my freedom. The scripture for today is from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Now let us repeat the affirmation together. The divine presence within me guides me to freedom. Thank you.
And now in that innocence of a child and that inner child in all of us, we take a breath and we just center into the time of meditation and prayer, and we let go and we just trust the mystery of life. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery.
As we enter this time of meditation, what a wonderful space we're in, the energy, the power of everybody within here. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. Feet on the floor, legs uncrossed. Open your shoulders, open your heart. Let your neck be loose. Tension leave your body. The issues you brought in through the door, just wipe them away. Let them be, because they don't matter at this time. So let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Feel your shoulders loosen, your body shift. Another breath in and out. And as I say I, this is you saying it with me. My words are your thoughts. Many times today, I will cross over a threshold. I hope I will catch a few of those times. I need to remember that my life is, in fact, a continuous series of thresholds. From one moment to the next, from one thought to the next. Help me appreciate how awesome this is. How many are the chances to be really alive? Help me cross into the present moment, into wonder, into your grace, the now place where we all are, unfolding moment by moment. And as we move into the silence with these words, hello, silence, my old friend. I've come to sit with you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. And as we come back to the present, the here and now, take a cleansing breath, let it in and out. And know that silence is God's vision. My heart knows it unmistakably. Silence is heaven's illumination. My mind sees it proudly. Silence is earth's perfection. My life discovers it unconditionally. Now hold in this place of grace as we move into affirmative prayer.
I love that, crossing the threshold. Let us now cross into the threshold of prayer. In the dawning days of a new year, we pray in the spirit of expectancy, envisioning fulfilling days ahead. We focus on the reality of one power, God power, breathing in fresh opportunities and possibilities. Empowered by faith, we pray. God, bless our Unity Spiritual Center and its people with love. Fill every heart of every member with your spirit of gentleness and joy, with your spirit of forgiveness and compassion, with your spirit of understanding and peace. God, bless this church with love so steady and strong that harmony is the order of the day, every day. God, bless this community with life. Renew and restore every member. Strengthen and perfect us all. Heal and bind up every wound. Let the presence of life be felt by all who enter here. Let the idea of life so permeate our beloveds that health and wholeness are the order of every day. God, bless this church with substance. Fill us now with richness of spirit and purpose. Fill us now with faith in your never unfailing supply and support. God, bless Unity Spiritual Center with substance so that success and prosperity are the order of every day. God, bless this church with happiness. Let the walls echo with the heavenly music of happy hearts. Let happiness be the order of every day. And we proclaim from Genesis, this is none other than the house of God. And in this house, let us claim the potential of love, life, substance, and happiness for all those whom you hold in your hearts, as we speak their names aloud and see that truth and power rightly. We know and we trust God's love blesses all beings and brings order. We are so richly blessed and ever grateful. So now, friends, I invite you to slowly open your eyes and please join me in our January community prayer. In prayer, I open to the activity of grace. One with God, I recognize unlimited potential. I allow unconditional love to move in and through my life and circumstances. It draws me deeper and lifts me higher. Grace surrounds me with infinite love and acceptance. God and good are everywhere present. In faith and with gratitude, I welcome God's grace. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, friends. My name is Susan Armstrong, and Michelle will join me in the sanctuary for prayer requests, or you can just come in and relish that beautiful space, or perhaps write your prayer request out in there. Thank you, friends. God bless us all.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trotting seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Whoa, no, no, oh no. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint on the clouds of doubt. But you never can tell how close you are it seems so far. Got to stick to the fight when your heart is still and when things go wrong. Well, you must not quit. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Don't quit. Oh no, you must not quit. Oh no. Got to stick to the fight when your heart is still and when things go wrong. No, oh no, don't you quit. Don't give up, my child, don't give up. You better not give up, my friend, don't give up. Don't give up, my child, don't give up. You better not give up, my friend, don't give up. Put your hand on your heart here. Don't give up. Sing that with me. Don't give up. Don't give up. Let it be your prayer. Don't give up. Don't give up. Look at someone else and say, don't give up. Don't give up.
Hello, Unity Spiritual Center, Westlake. It's Reverend Dr. David Ault, and I am so delighted and honored to once again be invited to share a Sunday with you. I want to give my thanks to Bonnie for sending me that invitation via email, and I'm particularly thrilled to be able to do this with you in the month of January. I have to kind of laugh that we all give ourselves such a greater sense of permission to hit the reset button in this month. You know, isn't it funny we don't do that necessarily in March or August, but when January rolls around, we have this larger sense of compassion to hit the do-over button and to create this sort of clean perspective and canvas of new possibility. So I say, why not take advantage of that? A lot has happened since I was with you in May. Several big life adventures. I walked the Camino again across the country of Portugal and Spain as a fundraiser for my foundation. That was quite something. And I've spent a month in India launching what's called a WASH program in my schools there in the slums in the state of Bihar. WASH is an acronym for Water Accessibility, Sanitation, and Hygiene, and it's the world's greatest need. So I have been honored to be able to work with public health graduate students at Emory University here in Atlanta for the last couple of years to design a WASH program that is culturally sensitive to these slums in the territories where our education programs are. So it was time to launch that, and that was amazing as well. And some of the things that occurred on those events, the Camino and India, are what I want to share with you. Your theme this month is about grace. And one of my favorite words, because my subscribed definition of grace is the infallible love. The infallible love, the energy of that infallible love that will never desert me, abandon me, or forsaken me, regardless of my behavior, regardless of the depths of my forgetfulness. It is the energy system, very much like the father and the prodigal son, that welcomes the prodigal home unfailingly over and over and over again. To me, that's what I see as grace. And I see grace with open arms, always whispering, always beckoning me to a greater embodiment and a sense of self. And I think January plays a huge part in some of us getting back in touch with grace. And so I want to speak to you a little bit today about how maybe you and I can bring some tangibility and applicability to this idea. So two things. The first one, again, I walked the Camino de Santiago. If you're not familiar with that, it is one of our world's most ancient pilgrimages. The Camino de Santiago means the way of Saint James, and there are now multiple routes across Europe that end in Santiago de Compostela, Spain, which is where the cathedral is for the apostle Saint James. It's where it is believed that his bones were buried. And the Camino was a Christian pilgrimage that dates back to the medieval times. And now is very popular, and there are multiple routes. I did the traditional route almost 12 years ago. And I decided to go back and do it again to bring awareness for Kaleidoscope Child Foundation and the educational programs that we have, and to use that as a fundraiser. It was amazing. You know, I'm 12 years older than the first time that I did it. And even though the route that I chose to go starting in Portugal through Spain was a little bit shorter, it was incredibly hot. And like I said, I'm 12 years older. And there were many, many days where the heat index and the physical requirements were a lot. So one of those days, I'm standing at the base of yet another hill. This one was bordering on mountain. And I just didn't feel like I had it in me. And I was cranky, and I just had that overwhelming desire of, and I'm sure you can relate, I can't wait till this is over. So I'm standing with my pack on, I'm standing at the base of the hill, it's pre-dawn, and I'm looking straight up, and it looks as though it is endless. And in that moment, something remarkable happened. I began to think about the idea of process. I started to see that no matter how much I wished for the climb to be over with, my wishing wasn't going to do anything. I had to put one foot in front of the other and begin to ascend this mountain in order to be able to make it to the top. Easy to understand. But I also was aware of how universally we as a species lose ourselves, become sort of inert in this wishing for something to be over, and realizing that there is nothing, there is no escape from what we understand to be process. Process is ongoing, no matter if it's measured and defined as a physical day where you and I wake up and then we go to bed. That whole day is a process. So when we wake up, if we wish the day was over, no amount of the wishing is going to eradicate that day. We're still going to have to live through it. The same thing with every interaction, every involvement, every connection, every breath. Everything is a part of a process, no matter how large scale or how granular it is. It's all process. And until we can become at peace with process, then what we invoke is a distancing or a forgetfulness about grace. And so I'm standing there, that was a lot of words, but I'm standing there and I'm aware that I'm wishing that this was over. And it's like, all the wishing in the world, David's not going to make it happen. Start walking. And I began to notice that as I would put one foot in front of the other, and perhaps every 20 to 25 steps, I would have to pause and breathe. I have good stamina, but I'm not very fast. And so could I make peace with each of those 25-step movements? And so I began there. I began to honor the process of each measurement, each increment, each little mental system that I was creating in my mind. And then the next one would go. And my mind began to be absorbed about all things process. In fact, I thought, let me see if I can uncover something that we participate in that isn't defined by process. Couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything. You know, we take all of that for granted, but no matter how much wishing we engage in, if we stood in front of a bare tree in winter, none of that matters with the fact that the perfect cycle will begin to generate life come spring. And so to fight process is self-defeating. But to notice process and then begin to accept that is a pathway to liberation. So I want you to pause for a moment, and I want you to reflect and think about your own relationship with process. So we get sick, and one of the things that happens when we are in the pinnacle height of that illness is we just want the illness to be over. We injure ourselves, and so we may have to go to physical therapy, and we have to go through this whole process, and we wish that we could just have it all be mended and not have to deal with this anymore. We suffer from a broken heart, abandonment, betrayal. And as we go through those particular feelings, there are times when we just wish that all of that was over with. We start just a day on the job, and we are discontented and unhappy, and we wish the day was over with. And no matter all of that wishing, once again, will not bypass, will not elevate us, pick us up, and move us to the end of those things. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is our greatest teacher, one of our greatest teachers, is process. To begin to notice that by fighting process rather than welcoming it is one way in which we reclaim, I like to say reclaim freedom. When I say reclaim freedom, it does something within my brain that lets me consider and allow that freedom has never been lost. It's never been separate from, it's just been forgotten or buried, just like grace. So when I reclaim the freedom that is already inherently within me, it's because I have worked at making peace with process. Even when I'm injured, even when I'm ill, even when there's a diagnosis, even when all of the things that are relational in our world that break our hearts, when we begin to see all of those things as an inevitable process, then we can begin to make different choices in the way in which we relate to where we are in that moment. So I'm walking up that hill, and I began to just be aware of each step. I began to play around with mantras that gave thanks for my joints and gave thanks for my ability to walk and gave thanks for my foundation and the opportunity to bring awareness to it. You can see where this is going. It's what the Abraham Hicks material used to call a rampage of appreciation. And I chose, instead of bemoaning the process, to just be in that moment, as Ram Dass would famously say, to be here now. And guess what? Time passed, and I made it to the top. And it was not that big of a deal. it was not something that was as oppressive and suffocating and dreadful as I had built up in my mind, because I chose to just focus on that now moment. I know that this is not anything new that you have heard, but I want you to think about this new year and your relationship with process, and to begin to examine all of the activity that you have in your life and how you can bring more grace to the process. And by that I mean bring that infallible energy that is always championing you, even when you are riddled with self-doubt. As you begin something, and the voice of self-doubt says, well, you've been here before and you didn't follow through. I don't know why you're trying to do this again. Instead of trying to fight that voice, just listen to it and invite grace to come in and to partner with that voice of self-doubt. And by partnering with that, we always know that that which is light has much more potency and power than that which is dark. Truth has much more potency and power than that which is false. And when those two things come in proximity together, that which is the forgetfulness, that which is the dark, cannot help but calm down. And so I want you to think about and to begin to invite in new opportunities by the way in which you relate to process. The second one, this was quite something. So we are in Bodh Gaya, India, which is where one of my schools are. Bodh Gaya, by the way, is pretty famous because that's where the Bodhi tree is. That's the birth of Buddhism. And there are monastery. Every Buddhist country has a monastery in Bodh Gaya. So it's this really unique place in the world where you're in a Hindu country, the birth of Buddhism. So you have Buddhist monks walking around the locals. It's quite fascinating. But still, the juxtaposition of poverty is quite immense. And so we were doing the WASH programs, and my partner got to come with me. My partner works in public health for the government and rarely gets to take a long extended time period off for vacation. And he had planned and planned and planned for quite a while this year because we really wanted to make this happen. And he was able to do that. So we were gone a month. And he got to see the schools, he got to see the systems, he got to see everything that we were working on, plus be an integral part of the WASH program launch. And when it was over, he said to me, wow, David, he said, do you realize that you established an economy where one didn't exist before? And I was like, what do you mean? Tell me more. And he said, by hiring Nandu is my administrator, kind of like my Indian son. He said, by hiring Nandu, you brought employment into a family, a lower class family. He now takes care of his family. He's hired teachers. The teachers are being paid. Those teachers now bringing salary to their homes. You're bringing education to these children and programs and all this kind of stuff. It's like an economy, like an organism. And you have brought one where one didn't exist before. And I can't tell you how much that touched me and really gave me pause to think. And it's not just me, it's all of the people that are involved that work with me for Kaleidoscope Child Foundation. And I couldn't get the word economy out of my head, economy. And I kept thinking then, if everything is like this one organism, then you and I are responsible and give the gift of a spiritual economy wherever we go. And what are the components of a powerful and potent spiritual economy? When you look up the word economy, it's the distribution and the acceptance, the exchange of goods and services. It's the meticulous management, if you will, of something. And as we are in a new year, as we're being invited to look at our process, it's not just about us. that we are, quote, quote, healing or adjusting or renewing. It's the fact that by doing that, we are affecting our innate spiritual economy, which goes out and affects and influences everyone around us. Because it is all one. And you may not have thought about yourself as a vessel of a spiritual economy before. But imagine what would happen if you did. Imagine what would happen if you began to devote yourself to making peace with process, by being aware of grace, by celebrating the fact that no matter where you are not separate from that, which is the infallible nature of the Creator. Each time that you note that and remember that, your spiritual economy pulses out and it affects people that perhaps you are not even aware of that you are affecting. Think about that. Later in the trip, we went to Kathmandu. We were in Tibet, and I really wanted to get into this Shiva temple. And I couldn't get in because of my white skin and because I wasn't considered Hindu, and it was a Hindu-only temple. And so my partner snuck in, put a scarf over his head. And so I'm standing there and I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling, FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I'm really longing of wanting to go into this temple. And I'm watching the masses crowd and push to get inside. They're working their way through this framework. And as I'm kind of feeling my feelings of not being able to go inside, and I'm staring at the people and the crowds and the framework, I had a divine lesson. And the lesson was, why are they so energetically pushing and shoving to get in? And it's because there is a belief that there is something on the other side. It's the old quote about trying to get to the there. And the realization of watching all of this was that there is no there. You see, trying to bypass process is trying to get to the there. And process teaches us that there is no there. What I mean by that is whatever it is that they were trying to flock into the temple to experience, I had the availability of that experience as well, just standing where I am. As I got kind of hit with that awareness, the wall to the left and to the right sort of evaporated in my mind, and then even the framework of the doorway of the temple kind of evaporated, but the people were still huddled in this very finite kind of ant-like maneuver to try to get somewhere. And I realized that what I was being shown was what we do in our forgetfulness. We're all trying to get there. And again, there is no there. So the seduction of trying to bypass the process of where we are. Oh my God, I wish if this education, if this degree, if this job, if this project could just be over. But the richness that is awaiting us, the grace that is awaiting us, is for us to make peace with the fact that where we are is exactly the point of power. Be here now, not there, now. And when we begin to do that, you and I are teaching, influencing, shifting the atmosphere. We're creating, offering a spiritual economy to all of our other brothers and sisters that we operate with to relax, to calm down. And in that relaxation, we can hear more. We can understand the sacredness of our life and our time here. Yes, it is a practice, but we can begin right where we are, right now. It's free. It's free to make peace with process. May we try, may we be willing, may we prayerfully open to that. Thank you. Happy New Year. There's a sing-along that I want to share with you that I think is appropriate for the message and for the beginning of this new year. It's called Sacred One. I know you may not latch on to the words this first go around, but I want to say them to you anyway. And see if you can pause for a moment and really take this in. You are the sacred one in this sacred time. No beginning and no end. Holding up the light for all to see. Heart and mind now freely blend. Fully honoring the gifts you bring to a world that now believes. You are the sacred one in this sacred time. Welcome home, my sacred friend. It goes like this. If you catch on, please sing along with me. You are the sacred one in this sacred time, no beginning and no end. Holding up the light for all to see, heart and mind now freely blend. Fully honoring the gifts you bring to a world that now believes. You are the sacred one in this sacred time. Welcome home, my sacred friend. Try singing I am the sacred one in this sacred time. No beginning and no end. Holding up the light. Holding up the light for all to see, heart and mind now freely blend. Fully honoring the gifts I bring, the gifts I bring to a world that now believes. I am the sacred one in this sacred time. Welcome home, my sacred friend. Of course, we got to try we. We are the sacred ones in this sacred time. No beginning and no end. Holding up the light for all to see. Heart and mind now freely blend. Fully honoring the gifts we bring, the gifts we bring to a world that now believes. We are the sacred ones in this sacred time. Welcome home, my sacred friend. We are the sacred ones in this sacred time. Welcome home, my sacred friend. Namaste.
Oh, my sacred friends. I love that. Wow, this morning, music, prayer, meditation, message. What a morning we've had together. I'm inspired. I hope you all are inspired as well, filled with gratitude and joy. And in this consciousness now we turn. This is the time where we turn within, and it's the time of gratitude where we think about our gifts that we in turn give back to Unity Spiritual Center. We think about the generosity as we think about the financial gifts that we're going to give. It takes a village to raise this consciousness. And our collective consciousness is raised as you allow your intellect to be stimulated, your passion to be encouraged. Your financial support of this center is what allows us to be here for all of us, right here, right now, and well into the future, creating a world that works for all. We thank you for the sharing of your gifts, your donations that you share with cheer and with joy for this spiritual community. If you're sharing your gift in person, please hold it in your hands. Hold it in your heart if you are sharing through the many ways that we have, through the credit cards, the text to give, the donate button on Facebook. So please hold this gift, hold it tight in your heart, and let's bless our offerings together. In gratitude, I see abundant blessings and possibilities.
So I'm going to start us off, and then you'll come in on the chorus. So as soon as the offering comes by, you can stand up. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here. Do it one last time. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Please be seated.
Receiving these gifts and prayers, we are filled with a mighty faith. We know God and Source as each one of you is channels through which our collective good flows. All things are now working to bring us into a new life of loving service and rich abundance. Thank you, God. Amen. So in our service today, we have raised our consciousness through prayer, message, music, meditation, and gratitude. And from this place of high consciousness, let us now join our search team in affirming together. Joyously, I am affirming that the right minister is drawn to our congregation, and our congregation is drawn to this right minister in perfect divine order. And I am grateful. So, Unity Spiritual Center also gives a portion of our offerings to a special organization each month. This month is going to be Youth Challenge, and Youth Challenge brings together both young people with physical disabilities with teenagers, and through adaptive sports, recreation, and social group activities, they help these younger people with a disability. So that's a really special program, so thank you very much for that. So, thank you for joining us this morning. Special thanks again to any new guests we have, either in person or via the live stream. If you are here in person, please join us in the community room for some fellowship and refreshments. A lot of things going on today. Around 12:30, we're going to have the Flute and Music Circle, so please join Twin Feathers in Maryland for that. We have a 5 principles class going on, and at 1 o'clock we have a vision board workshop. So lots of stuff happening today, so please stick around. Again, we've got the family dance party, 6 o'clock on Friday. And you don't have to dress like a caveman, I double checked. We don't have to do that this time. And then join us next week for Bruce Price, who's heading for the Rockies is going to be his message next week with the soloist Eric Fancher. So please join us to our celebration songs. We'll see you all next week. Thanks so much.